Welcome back to 8 hours and a lunch. The experiment continues. I'm your host with the least because I've got the awesome guest here joining me today. I go by the name Zwelake. My acquaintances call me Zweli. My best friends call me Maxwell. So I think when we started this conversation, we didn't think that it's going to take the direction that we are coming to realize. So we're pretty much excited about this ongoing new feel of how we engage with an audience. And so today's going to be quite different. Joined by people I've worked with in the industry before. And by the industry, I mean like a consulting agency, especially from an ERP point of view. I'm hoping today they're not going to go full nerd on me, but we're going to just get to know each other from a personal side. Typical lunch conversations. Today's lunch is brought to you by yours truly. So I hope you guys enjoy it. And yeah, let's have a good conversation. So I usually don't do well introducing people in terms of how they want to be known. So I'm going to just throw in them their name, but they will need to just elaborate further in terms of what they want everyone else to know them as. Right, it's a new year. This is our second episode, so I'm quite excited as well. So you guys are the first guest in 2026. All right, so next to me, I have Mr. Pule, Rorisang
I'm glad you said that name. I'm glad you said my first name because I battle a lot. The R.
The R.
Yeah, you know.
Oh, are you Zulu?
No, I'm not.
You don't have to answer that one.
No, it's one Rustenburg, all the way from Lira.
Then you said it very well, Rustenburg.
Rustenburg, that's where I grew up.
Yeah.
That's where I'm from, and I want you to know me as Wanako Makai. I think little boy who grew up lived in, I forgot the name, right? Went to high school in, Rustenburg, the town, and came to Joburg to further my studies. Varsity, we're all excited about varsity, living in high school. So I got to Joburg, excited about being here. Didn't know what I actually really want to be. And few years, now I landed into this ERP, which you just mentioned.
All right,
nice. Industry, and I'm loving it.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
So, trying to make a living.
Sweet stuff, man. Thanks. That I could have not done that intro. Hey, that one was with a twist. I was like, hey, here goes the story. What had happened was I was coming to Joburg from Rusty.
Carrying bags.
Chasing love and later with a job. I'm joking. Right. And also my other guest is Sam Gabi. I'm saying it properly, right? Yeah, man. A gentleman.
I don't mind how it's pronounced. Your pronunciation was
perfect, man. Perfect. Yeah, man. Any nuggets about you that you want to share with us?
Yeah, sure. So, as you highlighted, Sam Gabi. My friends call me G-Mass, so that's Sam G backwards. In my younger days, before I was Mr. Gabi.
Because you needed to explain that.
Yeah.
So all of us here, who knew?
Yes. So, bit of background about me. Born in Zim, grew up in Botswana, in Cameroon. Found my way to university in the Eastern Cape, Rhodes University, where I did my undergrad. Post that, spent some time in the US, where I did my internship and a bit of work there, about a year and a half, for which I decided to come back, and that's where I joined the ERP space. That took me all over Africa, and found myself in East Africa, Tanzania for 8 years, one of the best 8 years of my life. And then upon coming back, did some work with one of the biggest banks in Africa, also found myself all over the continent. And I'm now playing in the AI space, having a lot of fun with it, and enjoying working with you guys on a daily basis.
Oh, that's great, man. Great. Very, very colorful.
The way you get the accent, US.
Oh, well, my parents have been in
I
Canada
didn't
for
notice.
the
It's not an
last.
accent.
They've lived in Canada for the last 20 years, so it's my second home.
Well, all right. For those who are wondering, so ERP is short for Enterprise Resource Planning, and without going to the nitty gritties, this is basically how big corporations run their process assets, from financial management, process management, and across different industries, including manufacturing, where governance is also a huge requirement for us to maintain our process asset from policy management and so forth. So that's what it does. But we don't want to bore you with those details because that's not the reason why we're here.
Yeah.
Right? The reason why we're here is that we're gonna have my lunch.
We're gonna have lunch.
Yeah. I finally made peace with the fact that since primary school, people have always gone to my lunch. So we just came off December. We had wonderful year-end celebrations, right? And I've seen some of on social media, different people celebrating year ends, and I think a lot of what I've seen, people are now learning to behave. Whereas previous years, people lost themselves, so to speak, at the year ends. The guy who was known to be shy at the office, all of a sudden he's breaking it down on the dance floor. How was your year?
So I think I was that guy. Shy in the office, and I broke it down. Year end. I loved the karaoke. It was beautiful. It was amazing. We saw different sides to people, and we got comfortable. When your favorite music is playing, we get in the zone. Though you don't know the lyrics, but you remember the feeling, what made you feel when you grew up listening to it back in high school and all of that. So it was fun. I got to interact with a lot of my colleagues outside the office. Um, those sharp talking, and we're just engaging from the normal person who's having fun, who's not thinking about work, so stress of work. So where were we?
I think you are speaking from a different perspective.
Why is that?
Because the advice that was given to say do not lose yourself at the year end was basically from an employee's point of view. You are an employer, right? So of course you had fun. Of course, don't mislead us.
Yeah, no, but I got to see a different side.
Everyone else was behaving budgie.
We did have a meeting the next day after you guys' year end.
Oh yes.
You could tell you guys had a bit of fun. Some of you had no voices. Some of you were clearly hangover. So it looked and sounded like it was good times.
Yeah.
I needed to relax, man. I mean, it was a crazy year for all of us. I think, getting new clients, new projects. So I felt that was the space where I get to relax. And people were smiling. Most of the time, get in the office, they're frowning because they're chasing a deadline, etc. So year end, people are smiling.
And what I think what a lot of people also don't realize is the year end is the most important function for your lower levels, right? Because that's where they get to enjoy things that we actually take for granted.
All right. So Sam, you were telling us like how the importance of having a year-end function and just celebrating with the rest of the team, where there's no too much hierarchies. So we come across as peers, even though there's still that awareness to say my manager is here, etc.
Yeah.
Tell me. What as an employer, what would be best practice? Moving from boardroom to bride type of behavior. Now we're at the year end. It's very awkward because it doesn't happen every day.
Yes, it's very awkward, and I'm sure you guys have noticed in December you walk into a restaurant, you can see that's a year-end function, and there's always a segregation. You see the white guys, I mean, not to put race in it, but you actually see the white guys sitting in one section of the table, and you can tell these are the employers, and you can see who the employees are sitting in their own section. So I feel like from a year-end function perspective, we have to integrate. Get to know who your employee is, get to know what Rory is all about, get to know what Zweli is all about, rather than a tick box exercise of, yes, we had a year-end function, we fed them, we gave them drinks, they're happy, they're going to come back and work next year. So I think from an OS perspective, you guys got that dynamic right, where you're not, if somebody from the outside looking in walks in, they can't tell who the employee is. And I think that's quite key.
No, true.
Especially from a year and those synergies.
I tend to agree with that. But I think for me, it was not even about the year end. I think throughout the year, I realized because my day-to-day is mostly creativity. And I've come to understand that it can come from anybody in the entity. So you need to always be approachable in that sense. Because when you want to share something, you don't want to, it makes it difficult to share it with someone who intimidates you, right? You want someone who hears you out, and just to create that culture, it has to be intentional every day. By the time, I think when we get to the year end, it's basically a result of this is the culture that we have, you know? Yeah, and yes, sometimes, it's a very tight rope, especially when you have that environment, and then sometimes, come points where you need to, instill discipline. You have to work twice as hard as opposed to someone who's always strict and has, a closed door policy, if I may put it that way. But there's trade-offs. There's trade-offs. But I prefer cultivating that creativity.
100%. So even if you think about it, we all have kids. When we were growing up, our parents were very strict. You couldn't even have certain conversations with your parents, which led us to doing things undercover. Because we didn't necessarily have that kind of relationship with our parents. And we're trying to change that with our kids. But we still have to draw a line. And I think the same goes with...
it becomes a little difficult to say when do you need to draw the line. Because now the line is already, while getting a little bit comfortable, getting them to be comfortable around you, share ideas with you. You're already blurring the lines now. Come to a point where you need to be assertive, you need to give direction, you need to give instructions. That's a steep hill.
So the same applies in the corporate environment.
No, sweet. What's the dress code? Should there be a dress code for the year-end function? Because I'll tell you, we went on a theme, but the theme had too much liberty. Dress your generation. According to the generation you represent, that's what you will dress. Oh my goodness. People look lovely, people look quirky. And in my mind, I was thinking, this is a reflection of what they celebrate as a identity of who they are. And imagine you can come to work like that every day. In many occupational environments, that is not feasible. But I just liked how everyone, when they were dressed in their own skin, they were very friendly. The vibe was very lively. Would you try to put a dress code to it?
I like that theme that you just highlighted. We dress your age.
Well, dress your age sounds more dismissive.
Dress your generation. And by the sounds of it, everyone is free, open. However, I do think, especially in the consulting environment we're in, we can't apply that as we are at client sites. So that perception of the client will be totally different, and that's your moneymaker at the end of the day. But from a year-end perspective, I love that concept.
Saying gets people free, become free, and they get to have fun. Before even they get to the year-end celebration, they're already having fun, picking out outfits. Showing people how good they can look in a different outfit, not an office, tie. So already sets the tone for the celebration. To say, be yourself.
What's your guys' take on capping the limit of drinks you have at a day?
Oh,
Are you guys all for?
hey.
Let it be a bottomless pit. Let's
Open bar.
Let's see some things.
Yeah.
All I'm saying,
Or
my cap is not your cap.
as employers, what do you guys take in terms of? Do you want it to end up a serious party, or let's limit? What's your guys' views on that?
I think capping it, it helps out. You don't have any. You're avoiding a lot of problems after drama. Yeah, let's put it like that. Drama after, because there might be drama if you just it's an open bar, no cap at all. We can have Zway going ham on the bottles, and you find that tomorrow the wife calls us. They say, "Hey, my man didn't come home, and he never does this. This is the first time. So what are you turning him into? You understand? So we don't want to rattle back at home. We want to still keep it sane because that's your, the place of Fusa. That's the place you get your energy and to bring it back to the office. So capping it helps. Kind of helps.
I take a different approach.
Yeah.
I think the assumption, because it's a work function, we're all adults.
Okay.
So we all have a responsibility to ourselves first, right? I do also believe that every function, even from a planning point of view, has a budget.
Yeah.
Right? So you can cap the beverage that you want to give out, the free drinks, if I may call it. But that does not necessarily stop an adult from buying it themselves and opening their own tab. Right? And therefore, the perception of you can tell another adult you can only have 3 glasses of wine is almost absurd.
Although, and this is also maybe a psychological thing, when it's guys this function unlimited drinks, there's people who, when they realize that behavior becomes free drinks, I'm going to drink as many as I can.
Yeah.
Free.
I've never had this before.
Which compared to you're buying your own drinks, you find people are more restricted in terms of how much they will consume.
So it's less about a cap and more
budget.
of let's control the budget.
This is how many drinks we give, maybe like vouchers. Here's vouchers for 4 drinks. So you've capped it as an organization in terms of the alcoholic beverages that you're actually giving.
That's a great idea.
Because I don't know, I've seen crazy things like this. I've seen.
I mean, you've been around.
I don't want to mention the places.
I've seen a guy cuss out the HR director.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming, probably.
Yes.
It's been sitting on that one for a while.
Yes. He's been sitting on it. He's now
It's
like
good.
the fire. This was an unlimited drinks function.
Ooh.
And he cussed out the HR director in front of everyone.
I mean, as someone who's studied HR, I think all HR people have it coming at some point. To be honest, HR is very much a very integral part of the business. However, how it's executed, I'm also of the belief that HR should be always external and provided by a regulatory body, like an inspector, so to speak, because they are the mediators. But in many instances, and I don't know the incident that you're referring to, to justify the cussing. I don't think you can ever justify cussing in the local place, but
That's courage.
yeah, 100%. I think that's what it was. But a lot of people in HR find themselves conflicted. The CEO has an agenda which is probably focused more on cost containment and so forth, where certain liberties that employees want to take advantage of, like at a year-end function, I need to get drunk. You telling me as HR.
Slow down.
Yeah, I should slow down. You've always, helped me back. But if it's an external, totally external thing, I think that would make sense. Because at the same time, they are, making sure that the policies and the laws that are governed by whatever, the country's laws, they are making sure that employees, or the employer rather, abides to that, and the employees' rights are not
Violated.
violated
Yeah.
or taken advantage of. I've had HR consulting come to me and say, okay, fine. I think something simple as this, write down the job description.
Oh. So then I think what will also be very important knowledge to provide is how do you deal with that voice?
Okay. Yeah.
That
It's
constantly comes back and tells you like what you were saying. What do you do? What's next? Is that thing? How do you deal with that?
I definitely.
How do you deal with it? Because you're still in here.
Either way, I think I would go from my experience. Without sharing way too much. I promise you there were no drugs involved. But I think you go through that phase of when you try something new. You go through a very, for me, it was quite long phase of like that imposter syndrome, where you're like, people are aware that I am figuring myself out. And I remember talking to someone. He says, "No, that's because you hold yourself to a particular standard. It's in your head." And they were like, "Ease up, because the last game you did well. You're doing well now. You're just entertaining a lot of anxiety." And I started intentionally focusing on reducing the stress and overthinking, and that's through just a healthier lifestyle. I also realized that my diet has to change. I can't eat such hearty food on a daily basis. Yeah, only on the podcast. Yes, let's set it loud and clear for people at home. I'm only eating like this at the podcast. So it was that awareness and people observing you and just giving you best practice. Yeah, helped. And some books that I read in terms of I think it's the founders. It's called some to the effect of the founders problem, right? Where we as founders, you start off doing everything. Right, and then you need to learn to let go and let special services come in, and that also it also redefines you because now you have to let go. There's a lot of letting go I've had to go through as well. So it's not easy, and I think I've got it right after 2.5 years of that struggle.
I don't think anyone's going to go to consulting.
Oh man. No,
I give them advice.
I think we go through it. I think it's just like going through puberty. Adolescents presented the first existential crisis. As a human being, you're like, oh, and you watch your peers, they are different. You're like, okay, maybe I should also talk with a deep voice. And
where's my beer?
Yeah, and it doesn't land the same way. Hence, I let go. So I didn't see it coming.
Eventually.
So it's. I think life prepares you, and I think it's a natural thing. It's not limited to consult. I think every career, every decision you make about your life puts you in that crossroad.
And I think with a lot of young people today, what they don't realize, it's not a sprint. Be it consulting, be it your career, be it whatever it is you're doing, it's a marathon.
See, this is why we have you here.
I didn't bring my running shoes. But and that's what a lot of the youth don't realize. I mean, with the social media and all of that, TikToks, people get 30 second gratification. They want that quick gratification. I started to talk, promoted,
What's the next thing?
So I think for us, the OGs, that's the advice we give to the young guys. This is not spread. This is what I've had to see here today, but this is what I get to get to there. It's sticking that long.
But I think there's also small sprints. Small sprints. I mean, you need to deliver a project in 6 months. You're always on the clock. You're working crazy hours. So it's smaller sprints, but you get to see the results of the quiz. But then,
Cut. Sorry, James.
No problem.
what did you see?
We've got like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
so
good.
Maybe
It's
we
going
can,
so well.
yeah, we can pick up the
I know.
wrap up.
I know.
Uh,
We need to get to the juicy part now.
Wendy.
Yeah! Guys, you're not eating.
Oh, we should be eating.
Yeah, you're not eating.
I think also another thing we're missing out because it's 8 hours at a lunch and we're trying to do the whole work break thing. I think you guys don't mention like your recent experiences. Yeah, I hear like 5 years ago, the time in HR. But what were you doing yesterday? Well, what do you plan on doing next week? How do you feel about traveling to work, like you guys were
Yeah,
saying?
That's got a bullet here.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was about to say it's about to get juicy.
Yeah, perfect. I think we need you to call off a little bit.
I told you Sam was made for this. He's born for this.
Mm.
Huh?
Yeah,
Told you.
that's
So now